Hey, welcome in. This is an entire series dedicated to the Hercules DJ Control Impulse 200 MK2. We're going to actually show you how to get everything set up today. My name is Coach Hapa from the DJCoach.com. It's a pleasure to see you. In this video, we're going to give you an overview of the controller. We're also going to give you an overview of Juiced, which is the free full software that comes with this that's also produced by the good folks over at Hercules. And I'm going to get you started. That's the whole goal, is to get you started here today. So real quick, I've got the controller. I've got a pair of headphones. Some of you may have opted in for the entire kit, which is awesome. The learning kit came with a pair of headphones. Maybe you have your own headphones as well. On the controller itself, it takes just the little 3.5. So little 1/8 inch jack, so no need for that 1/4 inch adapter quite yet, but it's a good thing to sort of have laying around for different mixers that you would maybe end up using. I've also got a pair of speakers as well that have come with the learning kit. These speakers are a bit tricky, so I do want to just show you this. One is that you have usually two different types of power ports. So I'm based here in the United States, and I'm going to use the plug that we need. This one is great if you're ever traveling or maybe send it to a friend in another part of the world. We won't need that right now. We also have our RCA to RCA cables. So this is what we're going to use, these red and whites. This is what we're going to use to connect the controller to our speakers. Now, if for some reason you don't have a pair of external speakers, no worries. You can actually use the controller without a pair of speakers. You can use your laptop speakers as well. No need for the actual speakers. However, it does definitely enhance the experience. What you'll notice on one of the speakers is that they're different on the back. So on the back side, here, let me unplug this real quick. On the back side of this one, let me give you my overhead here. On the back side of this one, we've got our RCA ins, and then we also have this output, which is a bit strange here. And I've got a power button. The back side of the other one is a bit different. All I have is the ability to connect it. So this is just speaker wire that's connecting from speaker to speaker. And in this case, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this real fast here. When I press down, it opens this up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down. I'm going to take this black speaker wire and feed it in there and then let go. I'm going to do the same thing with the red one, and then now we're connected. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So that will allow us to then be able to connect both speakers together. You don't necessarily need to use both speakers. You could just use one if you want. And if you use one, you'll have to use the one that has the power on it. This is technically a passive speaker, so you won't actually hear anything if you try to connect this to the controller. That won't work. All right, great. So we've got our controller plugged in. You'll also connect that via USB to your laptop. There is no power cord on the Hercules DJ Control Impulse 200 MK2. There's no separate power cord, so the power is actually running through that USB cable as well. This makes it ultra portable and really great for on the go and being able to use. You could DJ in your car if you want to, or on the plane, or somewhere where you don't have an actual power source. Great. Now what I want to do is I want to shift to our computer. We're going to talk about our specs for our computer. Okay, so this is Juiced. Right now you can see I'm running version 6.0.1 right now. You can always check for updates right here. I'm in the settings area of Juiced, and I'll show you how I got there. I went up here to the top right hand corner. There's a little settings widget there, and if I click on that, that'll open up. It'll have all of my different settings that are here. In this video, we're not going to go through all of these. I'm just wanting to show a couple of things. One is that when you plug in your actual MK2, your 200 MK2, you'll see it here as your audio device, and you can select between what you want your audio device to be. So just make sure that you've got the DJ Control Impulse 200 MK2 selected, and then you should be good. And then when it comes to the outputs, you can just leave all this as default right now. I'm going to go ahead and show you where I found that About section. That's where I found the version I'm on, and that's where I can check for updates. Now, real quick, I do want to make sure that you know that in this version of Juiced, we've gone ahead and released stems, which is a very exciting feature. In order to do that, though, there are some high performance specs that you just should be aware of. So whether you're using a Windows PC or you're using Mac OS, like an actual MacBook or MacBook Air, just make sure that you check the recommended specs and the high performance specs, which we'll go ahead and put up right here. So I just want to make sure that I can explain what all is happening on the screen. There's quite a lot that's here. Top left-hand corner, you'll have a drop down and you can select how you want to view the overall layout. So right now I'm on 2-deck horizontal, which I personally prefer. You can also switch over to 2 decks vertical, which makes it a little more shrunken like that. You can also go over to browser, which is giving you more of this browser area, which is where you would find your songs. You'll notice that even here on the far left-hand side, I've got my library. So I can select between these different music sources of mine potentially. We'll talk about that in a future video. And then right now I'm clicked on all songs in my library, but I can also sort by genre or artist, last played, most played, top rated, demo songs. You'll see all of that happening there. Within here, we can do a bit of customization within what I can actually see. And then there are these areas on the right-hand side that are folded up. So if I click on this DJ Academy button, it's going to take me to some of the video content that you're even digesting right now. So I'm going to click off that for right now. Um, and there are so many different knobs and buttons that are in here. Let me go back actually out to 2-deck horizontal. And you can see in this area, the left side, this is deck 1. This right side is deck 2. And you'll notice that everything is duplicated. So if I were to run a mirror straight down the middle of this area, everything is duplicated over for deck 1 and deck 2. So my volume control for deck 1 is right here. I'm just using my mouse right now. And my volume fader for deck 2 is right here. Same with my gain, high, mid, low EQs that are right here. My filter knob, all of that is happening right there. Now, in the center of this dial, you'll see that there's a number, 128. This is BPM, so beats per minute of the actual song. Right here is going to show me my default BPM of each track, so the original BPM of the song. So right now they're both at 128, which might make it a little bit confusing. So I'm going to actually load up something else. I'm going to load up this house loop 1 and throw that onto this deck, which you'll notice I just dragged and dropped it onto the deck. And now it's 120 beats per minute, which also matches this. So hopefully that helps you sort of get a fair understanding of the orientation of all of this. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the overhead of mine. And in this way, I can start to break this down as well. So if we put a mirror down the center of this, everything on this side is deck 1, everything on this side is deck 2. You'll notice everything is duplicated over. So again, my volume fader for deck 1, my volume fader for deck 2, all of these knobs are on each side. And so they're assigned for their different decks. I've also got my tempo right here on each side where I can speed up or slow down. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So if I speed up or slow down, you'll notice I'm moving that tempo knob, and that's shrinking and enlarging the actual waveform itself, which is also changing the BPM. You'll notice that's changing the BPM. So I can get all the way up to almost 128 here. I can lower this one down, and I can beat match that way. And this is certainly something that we will go over in some of the subsequent videos. I also have the ability of hitting a beat sync button. So there's a beat sync button here. So instead of worried about moving the tempo faders, maybe instead I have this at 128 and this at 120 right now. And if I hit beat sync, this will now make this one 128 with just the click of a button. The performance pads here will control different things depending on what I'm selected on. So right now I'm on hot cue, which will allow me to jump to these different parts in the track. And this will allow us to be able to mix the songs together and to be able to keep track of what part of the song I'm in. So this is the general orientation of both the software and the hardware. We can do so much with this small compact controller. I hope that you stick around for our future videos. We've got more videos specifically and exclusively on the Hercules DJ Control Impulse 200 MK2 using the Juice software. I'll see you on the next one.